So now from this lecture onwards, we're going to start with the JavaScript part of the project, which is the HSL color picker application. So for that, we need to use the script.js file. Inside of that, first I'm going to here type the document, that is this document dot. So here I will be adding a listener to the entire document of the HTML. So here I'm going to use the DOM content loaded, and then I'm going to specify the function. So it is going to be an anonymous function. Inside of this particular anonymous function, we are going to fetch all the element IDs and we are going to write all of the code inside this particular DOM content loaded event. So the first element, we need to get the reference to all of these input, that is these three sliders, which is hue input, saturation input, lightness input. Then this hue, saturation and lightness value, and after that we need to get the reference to the copy button. So here we need to create a couple of const variables. So the first one is hue input. It is going to be document dot, not this document URI. It is going to be equal to document, that is this one document, and then we are going to use the get element by ID function because we have specified the ID. So here I need to terminate that, and then the first ID is actually hue. If I come back to index.html, so you can see the ID of the input element under the hue is actually hue, that is this one. Similarly, we need to define the ID for the saturation. So I'm going to copy the ID name, coming back to script.js. So I'm going to create a duplicate of this one, and then I'm going to pasting the name of the ID, which is going to be saturation, and also changing the name of the variable saturation input. Then I'm going to click on view and word wrap. After that, I'm going to again come back to index.html. So here you can see now we have the lightness one. So I'm going to copy the ID name of the lightness, simply copy it and come back to script.js. So I'm going to expand it a little bit, and then I'm going to create a duplicate of this particular line once more, and then I'm going to pasting the name of the ID and then also changing the name of the variable. So now we have the reference to all of these three sliders. Similarly, I need to create a variable for the values, which is actually the span tag. So here it is going to be like hue value, and I can here also type the span tag because it is actually a span tag. So that is the reason I have typed here a span. Then this is also going to be document, not this particular one. Again, I have actually giving the wrong suggestion. So it is actually giving the wrong suggestion. Visual Studio Code, which is like document dot get element by ID, and then I need to specify the ID name. So the ID name is actually hue value. If I come back to the top, so this is the ID name, hue value. Copy it and pasting it here. Similarly, I'm going to copy the ID name of the saturation value. So copy the ID name. I'm going to copy and paste it so that I didn't make any typo while typing the name of these IDs, because if I made a mistake, then we have to face some errors. Then this is actually going to be saturation value span, and then again I'm going to copy the name of the ID, which is the lightness value. So copy it, coming back to script.js, and then I'm going to also here create a duplicate, and then here I'm going to pasting the name of the ID, which is the lightness value, and then I'm going to also changing here, which is going to be set lightness value span. So now we have the reference to the all of these three values span tag. It's time to get the reference to this particular color display and also the button. So here I'm going to just decreasing the size of the window of the Visual Studio Code, or I can just simply do that so that we get a good area for the work. Then here I'm going to type the const. Then this is going to be our color display. This is going to be equal to document dot, again it is giving me the wrong document dot get element by ID, that is this one, and then I need to specify the ID name. So coming back to index.html, so the ID is actually this particular one, color display. Copy it, coming back to script.js, and I'm going to pasting the name of the ID, which is the color display. Then I'm going to here specify the another const. This is for the copy btn, so it is like copy, and then I also need to type here copy button. Then this is going to be equal to again document document dot get element by id, and then I need to specify the id name. So id name for this particular one is actually our copy button. So this is the id name, so I'm going to copy it, and then again coming back to script.js and pasting the name of the id. So now we have created all the 8 variables. These 3 are sliders, 3 are span values, to total 6, and then we have these 2, which is the color display and the button. So now it's time to add the listener to these particular sliders. So here the first thing is I will be using the hue input dot add event listener. So we want to listen to the input listener. So here I will be using the input listener of the slider, and then I need to here provide a callback, which is actually update color, callback. Alright, so similarly I need to specify the listener to the rest of the 2 also, which is the saturation input. So I'm going to copy it and pasting it here, and then this is the lightness input. Alright, now it's time to actually create this update color function. Alright, so at the end here I need to type here function. So it is going to like update color function. That will be the function responsible for changing the color. Alright, so instead of that, first we need to actually create 3 variables that is going to hold the value of the input sliders. So it is like const hue, then this will be equals to hue. So hue input, so I want to listen to the value, means I want to store the value of the slider. Then similarly I need to do that for the rest of the 2 also. So this is for the saturation and also for the lightness. Alright, so you can see now we have done for the hue, saturation and lightness, and then here I need to change it the input to saturation input, and this one is for the lightness input. So now we have the values, means the values of these sliders, whenever it changes it's going to be stored inside these particular const variables. Alright, and after that we need to construct the color variable by using the values of these 3 variables. So here I need to use the const color, and this is going to be equal to, and here I will be using the string literal, or I can say that the template string, and here I will be using the HSL, which is hue, saturation, lightness, and then I need to start the round brackets, and then I will be here using the dollar symbol and then the pair of curly brackets. So here I will be specifying the value of the hue, which is this particular variable value. Alright, and after that I need to specify a comma here. So comma, and then I need to provide the space and then the dollar symbol, and after that I will be specifying the curly brackets once again. So now at this point of time I'm going to specify the value of the saturation variable, that is this particular one, and then I also need to specify the percentage symbol. Alright, so here I will be adding the percentage symbol. Also in the HTML markup, if I come back to index.html, so here if I actually show you the final version, after the 50 and 40 in the saturation and lightness there is a percentage symbol. So in order to add that particular percentage symbol, here at the end of the span tag I need to add a percentage symbol, and also inside of this particular one, not a dollar, I need to add a percentage symbol. If I control save it, so now you can see we get the percentage symbol. So similarly when we click on the copy button, then you can see the color is copied, and if I actually paste it in the newer version, then you can see also there is a percentage symbol is appearing. So in order to get that percentage symbol, once we copy the data we need to set it inside the variable also. So that is the reason we have done it here, means that thing we have done it by here by adding the percentage symbol. Again I need to add here a comma, then the space, and then again a dollar symbol, then the pair of curly brackets, and then I need to here specify the lightness, and then I need to add the percentage symbol. Alright, so you can see now we have updated the color variable, means we have created the color inside this particular color variable. Now we need to set the value of this color variable to this particular color display division container. So for that, here I will be using the color display variable, color display. Then we need to update the style of this color display, and then we want to change the background color. So background color, then this is going to be equal to the value of the color variable. I control save it, and now if I try to actually change the value of these sliders, so it should change the color of the color box, but right now it is not doing that. So it is actually, there may be a problem in the projects if I actually press the F12 key to open the console. So yeah, there is a problem. If I control save it, and now if I change the value of the slider, so it is actually saying that uncode type error cannot read the properties of null. So HTML input dot update color. So if I click on that, so here it is actually giving the problem inside this particular line number 28. So I think I need to carefully check my code. If I come back to index.html, so color display, so actually we have used here a class selector, and inside of the script.js, under that I am using the get element by id function in order to get the id of the color display, but it is actually a class selector. So that is the reason it's actually giving us a problem. So here we need to change it. So actually it is a class selector. So inside the script.js, I need to here use the query selector because it is a single selector. So I need to use the query selector function. Since it is a query selector function, so I need to also define the type of the selector because it is a class selector. So I need to specify the dot in front of the color display, which is actually the name of the class. Now if I control save it, and now if I close the console, and now if I control save again, and if I try to change the color, so now finally we are able to see the changes in the color. Alright, if I do that, then you can see, but if I refresh it, it's going to show us a blank white. So in order to solve this, we need to call this update color function here at the top, which is for the initial call. If I control save it, now it's going to show us a default color according to the values that are provided inside the markup. Here you can see the default value is 100. So according to these values, it's going to provide a default color that is based on this 150% and 45%. Now coming back to script.js, whenever we update the values of these sliders, I also want to update the values of these particular span elements. So for that, here we need to actually set the values of the hue, saturation and lightness value span tag by updating its text content. So here is going to be hue value span dot text content is equal to hue, the value of the variable here, and then similar thing I need to do it with the saturation value span dot text content, then this is going to be equal to saturation variable. Alright, and similarly I need to do it with the lightness value span dot text content is equal to, that is equals to lightness, that is this one, and then I need to terminate that. If I control save it, and now if I change the values, then you can see now the values of these particular span tag is also updating. You can see if I increase the lightness, then it's going to light the color. If I increase the saturation, then we get a different color. Alright, so now we have successfully updated the color to these color picker, means this particular color display. So our HSL color picker is actually working. The only thing is that whenever we click on this copy button, we want to perform the copy functionality by alerting the user. So for that, we need to add the listener to our copy button. So here, after the end of the update color function, I will be adding a listener to the copy button. So add event listener. Instead of that, we need to listen to the click listener of the button. And here we need to call the callback. So callback name is going to be like copy to clipboard. So this will be the callback. Now we need to create this particular function. Alright. So here I need to use the function keyword function, then the copy to clipboard, then to start its round brackets and the pair of curly brackets. So instead of that, we will be using the navigator API for copying the data into the clipboard. Alright. So here I will be using the const, which is like text to copy. And then this is going to be equal to, again I will be here using the template string, or I can say that the string literal, then HSL, and then I need to here specify the round brackets, then the dollar symbol, and then here I will be using the hue input dot value, and then I need to specify a comma. Again here I need to use the And here I also need to specify it inside the curly brackets. If I didn't do that, then it's going to give us a problem, because we want to get the value of the input variable, that is this particular one. We want to get the values from these inputs. Alright, so here input dot value, and then I need to specify a space, then another dollar symbol, then the pair of curly brackets. Again I need to here provide the saturation input dot value, then again specify a comma, and also I need to provide the percentage symbol. So at the end of this particular, here I need to first remove this comma, because comma will be provided after the curly brackets. So here I need to specify a percentage symbol, and then a comma, and then a space, and then again I need to specify a dollar symbol and the pair of curly brackets. At this point of time I will be using the lightness input dot value, and then I need to specify the percentage symbol again. Now if I control save it, nothing is going to happen, because the text content that we want to copy, it's actually initialized to this particular variable. After that we will be using the navigator. So navigator dot clipboard, so this will be the clipboard property. So we want to do what? We want to write text. So we will be using the write text method, and then I need to specify the text that we want to copy. So it is actually stored inside this particular variable. So here I have specified the text to copy, and then I need to here use the then, which is a promise, and then I need to provide here a anonymous function. So I will be using the function, then the round brackets, and then I need to start its block of the code. Alright, and here I also need to do what? I need to catch it with the error. So catch, and again I need to here provide the function, then the round bracket, then this function is going to accept an error, and then I need to start its block of the code. Again I need to here terminate that. So whatever error we will face, I'm going to here console dot log that particular error if anything goes wrong while copying the data. So I can here print the error, or I can just simply use the console error instead of log. So here I will use the unable to copy the data. So I will be using the error, and then also the error code will be printed by using this particular error variable. And after that, inside this particular function block, which is for the anonymous function block, so here I'm simply going to use the alert method. Instead of that, simply I'm going to type the message name, the color is copied to clipboard. Because we have already write the data to the text, so we have simply added here a alert. And now if I simply control save it, and now if I click on this particular copy button, so you can see now we have get the alert, the color is copied to clipboard. If I click on OK, and now if I enter here and simply hit paste, then you can see we get the HSL 150%, 45%. So now our copy functionality is also working. So you can see we have the 150%, 45%, which is simple. If I change the color code to like this one, okay, if I change the color to like this, which is like dark purple, or I can say that is light purple, and now if I click on copy to clipboard, hit OK, and now if I remove this particular color and now pasting it, then you can see 275, 72%, and 29%. Similar value 275, 72%, and 29%. So our copy functionality is also working. So yeah, that's it for this particular module. If you like this module, then leave your review, because your review motivates me to create more awesome content like this. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next lecture. Thank you very much.